Lights, camera, action! Let's start the show. Here's a little bit of wedding advice from me to help your love story unfold. This is your wedding series, and it's all about planning your wedding from the beginning, from age 14-year-old you and fast forwarding to the age in which you are engaged. We're talking about all those wedding events from the proposal to the rehearsal dinner and all the things between that leads you to your wedding day. Now, my planning is a little bit different from most because, like you heard me say, from age 14-year-old you until you get engaged. Most people start wedding planning as soon as they get engaged rather than from the age of 14. If you need a little bit more clarification on what I mean by all of that, please tune in to season 1. We break all of that down so that you'll have financial stability and success, as well as mind support and body support, in order to help you on this journey called marriage and getting to the wedding day. Okay, so all of that is going to help you to get to this point. Now we are in season 2, episode 7. There has been quite a lot that has happened in between today and all the episodes from season 1. But today we are in season 2, episode 7, and today's topic is DIY bride versus wedding planner. Now, we're going to tackle some interesting questions today. What does a wedding planner actually do? What do they actually do, right? And we're also going to look at why are wedding venues so insisted? They are just you have to have a wedding planner or you won't be able to book our venue for your wedding. We're going to look at why they are so insistent on that. And do you think that you could do it all yourself? So we're going to break down a lot of differences between the two, and having a wedding planner, like a traditional one that you'd have to pay for more than likely because there is some work involved that they do, versus a DIY bride. Now, before we jump in, I would like to say, hey, hey, fiancés. As your content creator, I'm here to share a little bit of my advice, okay? And I want you to understand that I've been to a lot of weddings. I've captured a lot of weddings as a content creator. I love to take pictures and videos on my cell phone so that people can have footage within 24 to 48 hours. That's what I do. And then they don't have to carry their cell phone around for all of those events, right? Their family and friends can be hands-free, so they're not carrying around their cell phones either. But more than that, I've been a bride. I've been married for a little over 6 years now. Yay! And so I do have a little bit of wisdom and knowledge that I would like to pass along to you. And even if you are a bride that has already been in this process already, it's still going to be good for you to listen, because then you can look back on how things went during your journey as a bride and share some things that you really wished had gone better or some things that were amazing. So welcome to everybody into the community, okay? Whether it be a bride to be, groom to be, whether it be someone who just loves weddings like myself and you were a bride, and you can go back and reminisce on the times that we are going through. We are planning your wedding from the beginning. And like I said, we're in episode 7, season 2. So if you want some more tips and advice, make sure you go back. I was going to say rewind, but no, make sure you go back and watch those other episodes. Now, today's episode is going to be very jam-packed. We will have a little bit of an intermission. We will, because we will be technically four, because after intermission, we're going to talk about the 4th one. But during this first portion of the episode, we will be talking about the 3 different types of wedding planners. And that first one is a full-size wedding planner, so full-service wedding planner, a partial wedding planner, a DIY bride, and then the fourth one is going to be the day of coordinator. Yes, you guys, this is still a form of wedding planning itself. Okay. So we're going to look at those, and we're also going to look at differences between them. The question I want you to keep in mind as we talk about this is, why is every single wedding venue, most of them, requiring you to have a wedding planner? So as we go and we talk about these things, and we're talking about the DIY bride versus the traditional wedding planner, whether it be full service or partial, why do you think that a venue would require, and I'm going to give you the answers. I'm going to give you the answer, but I want you to be thinking about it as we talk about some of these differences, okay? So let's look at the DIY bride and how she's different from the other two, all right, as an overall. First of all, the word DIY stands for do it yourself bride. So this is someone who's saying, I can do this myself, or they're at least questioning, can I do this myself? Okay. Now, I've created a bunch of notes here for you guys, and you will see me read off of them a little bit as we discuss. A DIY bride versus a full service and partial wedding planners. Okay. A do it yourself bride takes full control of planning. So she takes on full control. She is in it. Okay. She is immersed in all of the things. All right. So if she has a full service or a partial wedding planner, this is a person that's going to be giving guidance. This is also the person that's going to help with venue management. And this is also the person that's going to help with logistic support. There's going to be a lot of logistics that are going to come around that's going to help the bride who chooses to go with a full service or a partial service wedding planner. Okay. So let's look at bullet point number 1. Oh, I hope you are sitting back. I hope that you're comfortable. I hope that you're taking some notes, because this type of meeting that you and I are having right now, it's a goodie. It's a goodie. And I wish that more brides did this in the beginning of their wedding planning. I wish that they did more of the, can I do it myself? What all am I doing myself? Versus, what all is the wedding planner doing if I were to hire this person? As you know, wedding planners are not inexpensive. They're one of the highest cost in the expense chart for your wedding. As of today that I'm filming this video, there are some wedding planners on average that are charging $4,000 to $5,000 US dollars to be your wedding planner from beginning until the day of the wedding. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. So let's look at, do you actually need this wedding planner, whether it be partial or full? Okay. So let's just look at it and see for ourselves, do you need this? Okay. Planning and organization, the DIY bride. We're looking at her first. She handles all planning, scheduling, and research on her own. She uses the approaches of spreadsheets. She also uses the wedding planning apps, digital apps, and things like that. She also has checklists, so notebooks and task boards and mood boards. You guys have heard me talk about these in the beginning of season 2. So I definitely have been catering more to a DIY bride or a partial wedding planning service type bride. Okay, she's only using them partially. She also spends a lot of personal time coordinating every detail. So this DIY bride, she's coordinating everything. She's looking at the big picture, and then she's looking at those tiny little details in between. She's reading articles. She's online doing tons and tons of research. She's talking to people. She's picking their brain. How was your wedding during this portion? What did you do during this time? All the things, okay? So she's, like I said, she's extremely immersed in the entire process. Okay, now let's take a look at the full service planner. This is someone who is a full service planner, creates a comprehensive wedding timeline and checklist. She manages vendor contracts, budgets, and logistics. She also saves the couple time and reduces stress by handling everything. I want to stop here. When it comes to the full service planner, the picture that we are getting is that she's going to take on all of it. So from day one, she's going to be having those one-on-one meetings with you. She's going to be going over every single detail from start to finish. There shouldn't be pretty much anything that you're doing on your own when you have a full service planner. Nothing. When I say nothing, I mean nothing. Okay. You're not going to be DIYing signage, and all this other stuff. Okay. So you're not doing that. You're not doing it. You're not calling caterers. You're not doing any of that. All that this is going to show you is that the full service planner is going to do those things and then come back and get your approval. Let's talk about the partial planner when it comes to organization. Assist with specific areas such as vendor communications, decor, or timeline creation. The couple still handles some task, but the planner provides guidance. So this type of partial planner is providing guidance, okay? She's not doing it all herself. I mean, it could be some men out there that are partial service planners, so I don't want to leave them out, but she is doing some of the work. Many of you may find yourself in this category, but you hired a full service planner. This is why we're going over this, because if they tell you on paper that they are a full service planner, you let them know, hey, I'm going to be doing nothing. I'm paying you all this money. You are going to go get those signs. You're going to go pay the money for those signs. You're going to go pay the money for A, B, C, D, and F. Like, they need to be doing the things. Okay. And then those are your signs to take home. Like, you pay for it. See, you guys, listen, this is not your typical wedding planning over here. I'm keeping it real. I'm keeping it very real with you. It's very spicy Uno. So it's not your typical. It's not your typical. You're going to hear a lot of dry planning out there, whether it be digitally on the internet or whether it be in person. I'm trying to give you some things to help you so that when you get ready to make this decision on, do I need, can I afford a wedding planner? Listen, I'm not against wedding planners at all. I just want people to know what they're getting themselves into as they're going through the different phases of planning a wedding. So let's look at our bullet point number 2. Budgeting and vendor coordination. Let's look at the DIY bride first. The DIY bride, when it comes to budget and vendor coordination, she researches vendors. So she's doing this on her own. She's researching her vendors. She negotiates the contracts, so the money, and all the logistics of, like, what is this vendor going to be doing. This DIY bride is doing that herself, and she manages payment alone. No one is helping her to manage payment, meaning what she's going to pay them and how she's going to pay the vendor. The DIY bride is doing that on her own, okay? She's not giving anybody the money like a planner, and then the planner divvies out this money. Okay. She often chooses vendors based on online reviews and price comparisons. So she's taking the time that she's reading reviews online. She may even be on social media asking people questions. You know how people do in those groups, and they're like, "Girl, what do you think about this? Like, I don't know. And what did you guys do when you got ready to pick your photo booth person? And who's a good photo booth person in our town?" They may go and look to see other people's, like, how did it go for them at this specific venue, their advice. They're listening to hear other people's advice, okay? And they're taking it very, very seriously. They're not just booking people based on, oh, we are good friends in the wedding planning vendor world, and so we just automatically use this person, and they might not even be the best person. They might not even be a good fit. Okay? So that's the other thing. The DIY bride is making sure, hey, do we get along with this person when it comes to budgeting and vendor contract and coordination? Okay. So they may not have experience negotiating better prices or contract items. So this is something that I do want to talk about as more of like not the pro in the room, but it's the con, which means like the DIY bride, the reason why she doesn't have so much of that experience in negotiating these things is because this isn't what she does every day. She's a bride. She's getting married. She is not getting married every single year. She's not planning 50 weddings a year, okay? That's what planners are doing. So, of course, well, we say of course, but we know that there's not a lot of negotiating going on with them either. We know the truth. We know that it's a lot of the buddy system. They already know this DJ, so they're like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, here's your DJ." And it's like, "Well, hold on, they just want to get it checked off and done." Everybody is like wash, rinse, repeat. You're not anything unique or special to them. Okay. Just know that. Just know that. Know that you're not anything unique or special. They may tell you that. You guys may have kicked it off in the interview process, and that's what they're there to do. They're there to pretend to be your bestie. They're there to, act as if, yes, I got your back. Like, this is going to go exactly how you want it to go, blah, blah, blah. Just be on guard and look out for the things that I'm telling you to take notes on right now. Hopefully, you got your notebook out. Girl, I hope you, girl and boy, fiancés, listen up. Where's the bell? Where is, listen up. I hope that you have your notebook out and you're taking some notes, okay? Take some notes on this stuff because this is very serious. Shopping for your venue, what did I tell you? What's the question I told you to keep in mind? Why are venues insisting and requiring planners? Okay, keep that question in your mind as we're going about this. Let's keep going. Let's keep going, you guys. Let's keep going. So let's get to the full service planner when it comes to budgeting and vendor coordination. She creates a detailed budget breakdown and ensures all costs align with the couple's vision. So she's looking at what the vision of the couple is. She's also looking at how much they want to spend on each vendor. Now, I believe this to be true in some cases, but I believe that when it comes to more of the planners that are at venues already, I don't believe that that's always the case. Okay. She has vendor connections and can negotiate better details, better deals, and secure exclusive offers. So I also don't believe that to be wholeheartedly true, but I do believe that that's what they will tell you. I do believe that that's what their websites will say. And I don't believe that this is exactly is what's going on. I believe they already have done a lot of research on their favorite people, and I don't believe that it's catered to each couple. I just don't. I think that they take a little bit of that into consideration, But I think a lot of it comes down to, like I said, their buddy system. So I just want you to know that and be alarmed that if you do decide to go this route, that you are paying attention and that you're like, oh, well, I'm not sure about that caterer. Oh, I'm not sure about that florist. Let me do a little stuff. Let me go see. But you're not supposed to be doing anything when you have the full service, right? So that's why they are able to get away with some of this, okay? Um, they also manage all vendor communications, contracts, and deadlines. So this means that as they are managing all the communications, the deadlines, the contracts, the money, you have no place in it. You just have no place in it at all. So they take on it all. You are just on this ride of trusting this person with your wedding vision. Okay? So just know that. You guys see me over here. It's going to be really, really difficult to just give someone all complete control like that. Because when things fall apart or things aren't the red roses that you asked for, they're not. There's all different types of reds, and then you gave them a swatch, but yet that's not the one from your vision, and you get there on your wedding day and it's like, what is this? What is this? I asked for, this color, but yet I got this color. Oh, I asked for this many roses and I only got this many. And then what can you do? What can you do in that moment? Nothing. You've already given them the money. They don't care. They don't care. So the next one is the partial planner when it comes to budget and vendor communications. Provides a list of preferred vendors, but doesn't negotiate or handle contracts. Offers budgeting advice, but doesn't track expenses or payments. So the partial wedding planner, as you can see, they're only doing part of the work. They're only doing part of the work because you paid them part of the money. So they're like, okay, you only gave me this much. Well, this is what you're going to get in my services when it comes to certain areas, right? So they're going to provide guidance, which is you don't have to go do the research and find all of your vendors on your own, right? You don't have to do all the asking in the social media um, groups, wedding groups about this and that for your vendors, but they instead are going to give you a list. Now, once again, be careful because that list is probably going to have a lot of the buddy system people on. So be careful even with the partial service wedding planner, because even though they'll provide guidance to you in this area with providing you a list of vendors, that doesn't mean that it's the list of vendors that would automatically fit with you. And then you still end up doing a lot of this work of researching online, talking to people constantly about different vendors. And so, yeah, I've even seen some vendors in the social media groups asking for help. So that told you right there, like, can you do it yourself when it comes to some of these things? I just want you to keep it in mind, okay? We're looking at what they do versus the DIY bride. Could the DIY bride do a lot of these things herself? We're going to keep going and we're going to continue to ponder on that question. All right, bullet point number 3. Wedding design and time execution. When it comes to the DIY bride, she chooses her own color scheme, her decor, and aesthetic. She does it herself when it comes to her decorations. So she does her own DIY decorations, she does her own centerpieces, and wedding favors. She spends time crafting, shopping for materials, and setting up on her own with family and friends. So the DIY bride, when it comes to all of this, she's like, I'm making my own decorations. You know, this is my design. This is my theme. This is how I want to execute it. This is how I want it to look. These are the things that I want it to be. And I'm going to go out. I'm going to find these things and I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to make it happen. So just know that this bride is very, very serious about doing these things herself. Now, listen, if you cannot craft, if you've never picked up a pair of scissors or use all the different types of glues, not just Elmer's glue from kindergarten class, don't think that you're going to now turn into a DIY bride now that it's time for your wedding. That's going to be a disaster. Okay. And I don't want you to have a disaster on your hands. So if you're not a DIY girly like myself, please don't try to take this into your own hands. Try to make centerpieces and, all of the wall decorations and everything, because like the walls need to be decorated too, the chairs and the floors. Okay. So it's not just the tables, walls, chairs, floors. Okay. So people often forget that, especially when they're DIY brides. And then you get there and it's like the tables look beautiful, but what happened to the walls? What happened to the floors? What happened to the chairs? Bare, okay? Looking terrible. And this is for any event and any party. I love to start with those bigger things, like the photo backdrop wall. Everybody takes their picture over here rather than a blank wall, right? So I like to start there, and then I go to the rest of the walls and give them some form of decoration to the theme, as well as to chairs and to the floors. Then we can get to the table and all the tablescape and everything else that's going to go on the table, right? So that gives you an idea of the DIY bride of what's to come. And then you're planning a wedding, so you want it to be to perfection, right? So now let's look at the full service planner and what she's doing when it comes to wedding design and theme execution. She creates a mood board and customizes wedding design plan. I also want to mention the DIY bride does the exact same thing. That's what she starts with. She starts with a mood board. You guys know I've been calling a mock-up mood board or vision board for each and every single thing that's going to be in your wedding. Starting with the engagement party, how you wanted it to look if you were the person that was designing all that yourself, all the way to the wedding day. So all those events in between, the engagement party, the bridal shower, wedding shower, bachelorette party, the bridesmaids proposal brunch, you name it, okay? All the events that was leading up to the wedding day, like you start off with a mood board, okay? So that's for the ones that are doing it themselves. But as you can see here, the full service wedding planner always starts with that. She works with florists, rental companies, and designers to bring the vision to life. So she's working very closely with all these people in order to make it come to life, these vendors, okay? Once again, the DIY bride, that's what you're going to be doing if you were to do it yourself. You're going to be working very close with the florist, sending them texts, sending them emails. Hey, this is what I really want. This is, you've got pictures of the walls, of each of the walls in your wedding venue or in your ceremony or in your reception area, because there are two different places most of the time. Sometimes you get a flip, which means that it's in the same it has the same decor in two different places, or you have the same spot and you flip the venue for the reception. So you're in the same venue for both. Either way, you want to get pictures of that if you are a DIY bride and you're going to be decorating and stuff on your own. Now, hear me out on this next part. She's going to ensure seamless execution from ceremony setup to reception details. This is important, you guys. This is what I was talking about in bullet point number 2. Are they going to make sure that everything is in its place? You've got to have a good wedding planner that says that she's full service and able to do this, okay? Because if not, you're going to come in there and you're going to be looking around. Even though you're so excited to get married, you're going to look around and you're going to be like, this is not what I told them to buy. This isn't it. And like I said, full service, you've already given them the money. You can't get it back. What are you going to do? Take them to court and try to sue them? Good luck. Okay. So now let's look at the partial planner. The partial planner, when it comes to decor and execution, She's going to provide design guidance. So once again, she's more of a guide. She's going to provide guidance, but doesn't fully execute the wedding vision. She may assist in choosing a theme and recommending decor. The couple is responsible for sourcing the decor and handling the setup. So the full service planner, they're going to set it up for you. They're going to tear it down for you. You're going to throw away things that need to be thrown away. They're going to clean up all the things, right? So they're going to be doing that. Partial planner's like, no, you guys are going to be doing that. We're just going to provide you guidance on where you can get the decor. Here's a list of people that you can go find a florist. Like, they're going to be more of a guide. Okay. They're going to help you to not have to do the research portion. It looks like for most of this is like, okay, you don't have to do the research. Here's the guy. I'm sure you guys have probably, well, depending on who you are, you probably haven't, if you're watching this video, you probably haven't been this person, but go into a venue and they do provide a planner, but that planner will give you like a list, right? It'll give you, oh, here's our list of preferred vendors. Here's our list of, vendors that we require that you choose from this list. That's kind of like a partial planner, that person that's sitting there telling you that. They're not really a full service planner because they're not going to go off and go do it all for you. Okay. Let's go on to bullet point number 4, logistics and timeline management. Let's start with our DIY bride when it comes to logistics and timeline management. Contacts her own wedding day. She creates her own wedding day timeline and sends it to the vendors. So she's creating this timeline on her own, and then she sends it out to the vendors one by one. That's what the DIY bride does. She handles venue layouts. So we talked about the layouts, seating charts, and guest management. So, DIY bride, that's going to be a lot when you're trying to get ready for your wedding. And now you're handling guest management. Okay. And guest management includes, is these people supposed to be here at this wedding? People are looking for the restroom. People are looking for the water station. You're handling all of that. Okay. And I'm not saying that you couldn't handle all that, because like one easy way to handle it is just to have some good signage. Good signage to get you there, and you don't even have to worry about trying to attend to every need of your guest at that point. Maybe you are going to delegate like family and friends to help with something like that, but you're a do-it-yourself bride, so you're going to figure out who is going to be handling that. Okay. Now I will say this, I have seen a do-it-yourself bride that didn't know who was going to be like letting people enter and exit into the venue. And so what ended up happening is that one person just decided to take it on themselves, but as a wedding guest. And so it was fine. Like, they were sitting close to the door and they were like, you know what, I'll just do it. But that's something that the bride, who was a DIY bride, who didn't have a wedding planner of any kind, not even a day of coordinator, was supposed to be thinking about going through all the things, for the wedding. It's not easy. And so now other people, like wedding guests, are just kind of picking it up, because a lot of times family member and friends, like close best friends and family members, they just want to enjoy the wedding. They don't want to be the usher. They don't want to be the, person that's helping to do something like that. So yeah, just know that that's something to keep in mind when you're a DIY bride. Now, you also have to think about the layouts and the seating charts. That's another thing that I will say, one of the weddings that I've attended, that there was no seating chart, and that's fine. But then people decided to sit in a very not so great area, I feel like, for the couple getting married. I don't think people should have been really seated in that area because it made for a very awkward view. And I know that if I were the family, I would not have wanted to sit there. Thankfully, I was not there as a family member and kind of, told or asked to like sit there, right? So you do have to be mindful of the seating chart or their none seating chart. This one was like a seating chart for the family, but none for the guest. That's fine. It's your wedding. You're doing it yourself. You do whatever you want. Okay. So you must ensure everything is coordinated without professional support. So that's what we've been talking about. You are the one that's going to have to like put it all together without that professional support. You're just doing research online and trying to figure out, okay, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do for every little step? And you're probably going to forget some stuff because, like I said, this is not what you do every day. This is what planners do every day. Let's look at the full service planner. The full service planner is going to, she develops a minute by minute wedding timeline and ensures smooth executions. Okay. So she's providing this like seamless execution of the day. It's minute by minute. I will say that is not always true. Not every wedding full-time planner is doing this perfect minute by minute timeline, even throughout the wedding planning portion and for the wedding day. I don't believe that to be true. So you guys are going to have to use your good judgment here to make sure that you're going to be getting what they said that they're going to provide. Hold them accountable. Okay. All right. Manages transportation, vendor arrivals and exits, as well as setup. So that's what the full service planner is going to be doing. They're going to be managing all of that. Now, if you're a DIY bride, you're also going to have to manage transportation for everybody. You're going to have to, looking at the vendor arrivals and all that good stuff, or delegating it to somebody to do. Maybe you have your bridesmaids help with that, because bridesmaids could do that too. Like, yes, they're getting ready, but they're actually supposed to be mostly ready before they even get there. It's mostly about you getting ready on the morning of and everybody helping you to get ready. So you may want to delegate some of these things if you are a DIY bride. Learn to delegate now. Okay. Write down these notes that I'm giving you on these things that these full service wedding planners are doing. Write them down and then delegate it to a bridesmaid or a family member if you're a DIY bride, as well as the setup. So she's handling the setup. She is going to be the one that coordinates what the setup looks like. And she's probably going to be the one that actually sets it up with a team, okay, of 1 or 2 extra people. As a DIY bride, if you don't have somebody in place to help with this, like family or friends, do you really see yourself setting up your wedding on your wedding day? The actual setup on your wedding day and getting ready in the back? No. And many brides go into it thinking, yes, that is what is going to happen. So you got to be careful. You just got to be careful. And with, thinking that you can do it all of it. Let's keep going. Handle unexpected issues. For example, weather, missing items, or vendor delays. There's a lot of things, guys, that can go completely wrong on a wedding day. And if you are a do-it-yourself bride, you see all that stuff that the full service planner is taking care of that you didn't even think about. The weather. Well, what's plan B? What's plan C? Sometimes you have 2 more plans if there's a wedding issue on the day of your wedding. They're handling, vendor delays when vendors don't show up on time. Okay. What are we going to do about that? The DJ hasn't arrived. Well, the reception is now started. Can we start without them? Are we going to dock their pay because of this? Are they getting a pay cut? Let's move on to the partial planner. The partial planner is going to help create a general wedding timeline, but doesn't create the entire timeline and execution. They're not doing it all. It's like a skeleton. They're going to give you like a little skeleton, and you're going to have to fill in a lot of like details, okay? A lot of the little like tiny little minute by minute things that they aren't going to do, okay? But they are going to give you a partial timeline, something to go off of, something to help you to get to where you need to be on the day of the wedding and the reception and ceremony. Couples still need to manage final logistics and problem solving. So the partial wedding planner is also like, you know what? I'm getting part of the money. Listen, lovebirds, I'm not going to be solving all your problems on the wedding stuff. I'm just not going to be doing it. They're like, nope, 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 nope. So it's going to be on you. You're going to be a DIY bride if you have the partial planner. You're going to be a DIY bride if you have no planner. But you shouldn't be a DIY bride if you have a full service planner, okay? And that's the problem that I'm seeing today, and that's why we're doing this video, is that I am seeing people who are hiring full service planners, but those full service planners are making people DIY brides. Doesn't work. Bullet point number 5, stress and time commitment. The DIY bride takes on all responsibility, often feeling overwhelmed. Spends months and months or even years researching, planning, and organizing. Relies on family and friends for help. So this is very true. The DIY bride spends a lot of time and a lot of stress dealing with so much of this. And she definitely has to check in a lot mentally. That is something that we talk about here on our wedding planning series, is checking in with yourself emotionally. Not just the spa days, not just, taking time to work out and to eat right, but just time to just stop. Just stop everything and relax. Lay on the floor. I've mentioned this so many times. Lay on the floor, lay on your sofa, and just stare at the wall or close your eyes. Do nothing for a minute or 2 or 50 or an hour or 2 hours, okay? You got to do it. You got to just okay? Let's look at the full service planner when it comes to stress and time commitment. All right. So she minimizes stress by handling everything, she or he. The couple can focus on enjoying their engagement after, you know, I'm laughing, you guys, because, on paper, it sounds right? It sounds so good. They are going to be taking on all of that stress for you, and that you're just going to be sitting back and enjoying your engagement, other than all the details that comes into wedding planning. Provides professional problem solving of anything that can go wrong, okay? So that's what the full service planner is supposed to do. That's what we're going to say. That's what they're supposed to do. I don't know, that's what they're all doing, okay? I will tell you that's why we're doing this, because I just want you guys to be on the lookout. Are they doing all these things? All right. Partial planner reduces stress by guiding the couple through specific parts of planning. So very, very specific parts of planning. They're not taking on everything, remember. And the couple still needs to handle some tasks independently. So we've already looked at a lot of those tasks, a lot of those things that they're only going to handle partially. You're going to have to do the rest. Okay? They're great for brides who want some support, but still be hands-on. They still want to take control, okay? These brides that choose this one, they still want to have some control. So let's break this down a little bit more. Who should choose which type of planning option when it comes to a wedding planner? Which type? So far, we've only discussed the full service planner, the partial planner, versus the DIY bride. Now, remember, we still have an intermission coming up where we're going to talk about the day of coordinator versus the DIY bride. Okay. So, who should choose which option? The DIY bride, do it yourself, is ideal for brides who love planning, organizing, and being in control. So if you love to plan, you love to organize, and you like being in control, like taking control of events and parties and planning specifically, because this is very specific. You might like taking control of other things like cleaning your house or cooking the food, whatever. But are you good at planning, organizing, creating, okay, and taking control when it comes to parties and events in your life, okay? They have plenty of time to research, manage vendors, and to do DIY decorations. There's going to be a lot of decorations, you guys, that I talked about, okay? A lot of decorating, or it's just going to look bare unless you've got the most perfect venue in the world where you don't need to worry about anything except for some flowers, maybe, or maybe you're getting married in a garden, you don't need to worry about that. But if you need to decorate a lot of stuff as a DIY bride planner, I hope that you have the time to create all these things, okay? You also have time to research. You've taken it upon yourself to have a lot of time to do that. You are budget conscious and you want to avoid planner fees. So you definitely are budget conscious. You understand a budget. You understand how to stick to a budget. You understand how to create a budget. And you want to avoid traditional wedding planner fees. You just don't see anything on there that you couldn't do. You just don't. So, or you could delegate it to a family or friend that you don't think would be in an uproar about helping you, right? So it's good to know yourself. And as a DIY planner, you would choose this one if this is you. Let's move on to the full service planner and who is ideal for this as a couple. Which wedding couple to be is this ideal for? They want a stress-free experience and professional execution. So they want things to be professional. Don't leave things out. Don't say you're going to provide things that you don't provide. Don't say that you're going to do things that you aren't going to do. Okay. So they want someone who's going to provide these things, be professional, as well as give them the stress freeness that they need in order to enjoy this engagement. Okay. The next thing is that they want to have busy schedules and don't have time. I mean, they want to have, no. They have busy schedules and they don't have time to handle every detail. So this wedding couple is someone, they have very, very busy lives. You know, they've got a lot going on and there's no way they're going to be able to handle every single detail of their wedding. So they are going to outsource this stuff. They're going to outsource. They're going to give this to this wedding planner and say, nope, you do it. We don't want anything to do with it. We don't it's not our expertise. And so we just want you to handle this. Okay. All right. Now, the next part is they want a highly coordinated, so very, very highly coordinated, seamless, and well-designed wedding. A lot of people desire this. And I don't think that that's what they're getting when they're hiring a wedding planner that's full service. There's too many horror stories out there for this to be the truth. Okay? Okay. So I do believe that people have got to get on board with being honest with what they can and what they cannot provide, what they can't do. Because what ends up happening is that people are expecting this. So that's why we're talking about the couple who you are, who wants the full service one, full service wedding planner. They're expecting these things and they're not getting it. Let's look at the partial planner and who's the ideal couple for the partial planner. These are going to be some This is going to be some people who want some professional guidance but still enjoy planning. So they don't want to go research every single vendor that they're doing. They do want some guidance on, like, who do you think and which one would you choose and the why you would do that, and then still plan it out themselves. They want to go interview the vendor. They want to go and try to negotiate pricing. They want to go and book the vendor, and they want to go pay for the vendor themselves. Okay. So the next one is need help with specific tasks like vendor connections, selection, or design service. So they might need to, like I said, different vendors, they might need to have some help on that. And then they prefer more budget friendly options while still having expert input. So when you have the people who are looking to have like a partial, they're looking for budget friendly stuff. They're looking for deals, okay? They're looking for deals. They don't need like all the expensive stuff because, like I said, most of the time the full service planner is just going to pick, it doesn't matter the pricing. Like, they're just going to pick who is their friend, who's their buddy, who they've worked with so much, so often. And there could be like a brand new, like, come up person in like the photography world or videography world, including myself, content creators. We are trying to get ourselves out there more. And are there a lot of wedding planners that will give content creators a chance, wedding content creators a chance? No, no, because they've worked with the traditional photographers and videographers for so long that they're like, why do I need to consider you? Like, why do I need to put you as part of the team? And it's actually the opposite. They want to keep us completely out. Okay, completely out. All right. So here's some final thoughts that I have on all of this. DIY brides take on the entire planning journey alone. Okay, they might have family and friends to help them, but at the end of the day, they are going to get stressed. This is going to be overwhelming for them. The full service planner manages everything for a stress-free experience. Okay. That's what they're supposed to provide. A partial planner is going to offer help where needed while still allowing the couple to be hands on. They're going to give guidance, okay? And I will say, for the partial planner, people who actually are partial planners and they are charging you a partial planner fee, they actually do pretty good job. I feel like they do what they're supposed to do. They're providing partial guidance. That's what they're doing, right? So let's look at this huge note that I have for us when it came to trying to answer the question, why are vendors requiring you to have a wedding planner? Wedding venues are usually requiring this because they have also been a part of this buddy system, okay? It's about money. It's about money. Most of the ones that are requiring that you go with theirs. Majority, not all. Some of them will say, well, you can have your own, you can get your own, but we need to make sure that we vet them, that we go see who they are, right? Do you think that this is fair? Do you think that this is fair? That they're now going to tell you who your wedding planner is or has to be? Do you think that it's fair that if you were your own wedding planner, they don't accept that? Okay. Do you think that this is fair? Good questions to ask. Good questions to ask. Because I don't think that it's fair that for your wedding day, someone else is telling you how to plan your event. Because that's what they're doing. A wedding planner plans your event. They plan one of the biggest events of your life. For some people, it is the biggest event of their life. Okay? It's right up there, like top tier thing. Okay? So you have to think about that. Do you think that it's fair to take that decision from you? Because that's what they're doing. They're taking that decision from you. The wedding planner that comes with most venues will tell you that they are a full service wedding planner. They will say that they are full service. What have we discussed in this episode? Most of the time, they are not. They are a partial planner. They will provide some guidance. They'll give you some list. And then you still got to go and like do all this work yourself, or just go with whoever's on the list that they gave you. And they won't accept the vendors that you want, right? They won't even work with them. So be careful when choosing a venue. You got to be careful. You've got to be careful. You got to be careful. Okay. Now, as we discussed along the way, could you do it yourself? That was our other question. Why venues are requiring a wedding planner? Could you do this yourself? My question to you is, why pay thousands of dollars to plan your event for someone else to plan it for you when you can plan yourself for way less than thousands of dollars? Way less. And most of the time, the things that they're spending money on, they made it themselves as well, or they went out and bought it, and yet they keep it and they use it for wedding after wedding, and you don't even get it back, like those little signage for food and things like that. You be done bought that. They didn't buy that. You bought it when you paid them $5,000, $4,000, whatever it was, to plan your wedding, and then you don't even get that sign back. I know some people probably don't want the sign, but as someone who does like to do events and stuff like that, I would love to have my signs, because then I don't have to make new ones. I can keep reusing them for other events and parties and anniversaries that are to come in the future. We're going to be still planning other stuff. It doesn't just stop with our wedding day. So I want you to be thinking about those two questions some more. I want you to think about, is this the right thing, you guys? Is it the right thing to be hiring these planners at these venues? Just think about it. That's all I want you to do. And I think that some people have started. I think that's why they're out here researching. Everybody's trying to get back to simple. Everybody's trying to get back to where we used to be in life. Simple. Things weren't this big to do thing. People went to the courthouse, they got married, and then they went out to eat. That's what people did. That's what they used to do. They still dressed up. They still looked really, really beautiful. They still had their little wedding gown on. The man still wore the tuxedo or a really nice suit. They still had their closest immediate family and friends there. Okay. But it wasn't all this like nonsense. Okay. It's a lot of nonsense going on. There's a lot of money being thrown around for no reason. No reason. All right. So you guys, we have come to the intermission. Like, oh, yay! We are now at intermission. We're going to take a short little break. I'm going to take a short little break. I want you to ponder on the questions that we have discussed. And I'm going to get into some more notes. What are we doing after intermission? After intermission, we are going to be talking about the day of coordinator. So you can also take this time to type in any questions that you may have, any comments that you want to add, things like that. But we will be taking this time to just take a short, little brief break, nothing too long, but time for you to get like a sip of water. And yeah, okay. So we will be right back, and we will be talking about the day of coordinator. Do you need the day of coordinator? Could you also do that yourself? We're going to talk about it. So we'll be right back. All right, all right. I have checked a lot of the technical things here. And so, welcome back. Welcome back, everybody. We are in your wedding series. So, once again, lights, camera, action. Let's start the show. This is going to be a part 2 when talking about wedding planners. So, this is going to be a little part 2 of the episode. And we are talking about wedding planners, but now we are talking about, in today's episode, day of coordinator. So, on the wedding day, the day of coordinator, why every single bride, if you are the DIY bride, if you are the bride that hired a wedding planner that's full service or partial service, why every single bride needs a day of coordinator. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and discuss why you need a day of coordinator. We're going to talk about some of their duties. Just know that this episode won't be as long as the wedding planner portion. This will be much shorter because this is the day of coordinator that we are comparing to. And we're going to look at 6 key duties of a day of coordinator. So this is going to be 6 key duties of a day of coordinator. So wedding day coordinator. Number 1, manages the wedding timeline, creates a detailed timeline for vendors, the wedding party, and key moments. Oh my goodness, you guys. So that is huge. That is huge. Most DIY brides don't realize that they need to create this specific timeline for vendors. Vendors need to have a timeline. Also, the wedding party, the bridal party, they need to have a timeline, okay? They need to know where they're supposed to be at what point of the wedding day, okay? As well as key moments. So, like when certain things are happening during the ceremony or when certain things are going to be happening during the reception. If you are a content creator or you are a photographer or videographer, you want to know when they're going to have the bouquet toss. You want to know when they're going to light the candles for the ceremony. As a bridesmaid, you want to also know a lot of these key moments as well. You want to know when you need to be doing certain duties during the wedding as well. So they're going to be creating that timeline. You guys, that's a very specific timeline, okay? You're going to ensure that everything stays on schedule. That means everything from the ceremony to the rehearsal entrance, everything. And then the end of the reception, the end of the reception as well. So you're going to make sure that everything goes according to plan. Now that you've created this timeline, the day of coordinator is also going to make sure that things get executed. Okay. The next thing is that they're going to keep the couple relaxed while managing last minute adjustments. Things always happen, and so it's important that they are there to help to adjust when adjustments need to be made. And so they are going to ensure that, and then they're going to ensure that the couple is feeling great, feeling good. They don't feel stressed and like pulled in a million places. They don't feel overwhelmed. Okay. So that is very, very, very important. The second duty that they're going to have is overseeing vendor coordination. They are going to communicate with all vendors before the wedding to confirm logistics. They're also going to ensure vendor arrival on time, set up correctly, and full full contract stuff. So that means that whatever fulfillment that they had with that contract, they're going to be checking it off. Okay, let me look. They were supposed to bring 50 roses. All right, I'm checking that off. They brought them. So they were supposed to bring 100 drinking glasses. Well, they only brought 98 because they broke 2 on the way over here. I got to write that down. So it's important that the day of coordinator understands their duties as well as the bride understands what the day of coordinator is doing. That's why we're talking about this, so that they understand what they are doing. Okay. Troubleshoots vendor. They're going to troubleshoot vendor issues without involving the bride and groom. So there will probably be problems, like I said, like with the drinking glasses, that something could happen. Um, there may not be all the roses that were supposed to be there. They're not going to bother the bride, but they are going to notate it. The bride and groom need to know at the end, at some point, they need to know at the end of the wedding, okay? Because maybe there could be like a money thing here. They could have forgotten something very, very big. And so they need to know. They need to know. So, but figure out how to troubleshoot it and how to fix it before you tell them, because maybe there's a way to fix it. All right. Handles wedding day setup. This is a big one. This is a huge one. Okay. Handles the wedding day setup. DIY brides, you're going to have a hard time doing this. You're going to have a hard time trying to set up your own wedding yourself, okay, with your actual hands, and also getting ready for your wedding. So the day of coordinator is going to ensure the ceremony and the reception areas are decorated properly. They're also going to manage the seating arrangements. They're going to place the cards, the candles, all the table settings, all the stuff for the walls, the signage, all the good things, okay? They're also going to check the floral arrangements and the linens, and they're also going to be looking at all the rentals that they are in the proper places. So as the DIY bride, you can't do that. Like, there's no way. You're going to be in the back, you're going to be doing stuff. So you probably have to give this to a family member. I've seen this happen. We were in a New York wedding, and when I tell you that bride made sure that the family knew, no, this goes here, this goes there. She left pictures. She like had one table set up and everybody was just supposed to copy that one. Like, she did all the things before she ran out to go and get ready. But what she had missed was the walls, the floors, and the chairs. None of that had decorations. And it was in a very, very bare basement at a church. And you guys know that most fellowship halls is just like a cafeteria looking place with those nasty white tables and those nasty white folding chairs. And if you don't make them look nice for the wedding day reception, that's all you're going to be getting. And that's fine if that's what you want. But people usually stop there at the table and put some form of tablecloth on it, but then they don't do anything to those folding chairs. They don't do anything to those bare walls, and they don't do anything to the floors. And so, and like I said, for the floors, you don't have to do a whole bunch. I mean, you can line them with flowers or with the candles. Like, you can do like the artificial candles if you want, and you can line them. It's up to your theme. It's whatever your theme is, but you want to be thinking about floors. Okay, just be thinking about them. So the next one is number 4. They are going to direct the wedding ceremony and the reception. They are the director, okay? It's going to be hard if you're a DIY bride trying to be the day of coordinator as well, because how are you going to direct everybody during the ceremony and the reception, okay? It's going to be impossible. Ensure that the wedding party knows where to be and when, okay? So when the procession is going to start for the ceremony, who lines up where. People could forget, even though the bridesmaids got their timeline, they could have forgotten where to go, because it is very exciting. Everyone's excited. And so they could have like forgotten where to go and where to stand. So that director, that day of coordinator, is going to ensure that, okay? They're going to be making sure to check in on everybody for that. They're also going to assist with guest management as well as seating and the transitions. So a lot of times when I see a DIY bride, they're kind of like staring into space at this point of the transition from the ceremony to the reception. They haven't sat down and figured out timeline wise, where are they supposed to be and where are their guests supposed to be. So a lot of times this is where things fall apart. And then it looks like, oh, nobody told me, nobody helped me with my wedding. That was up to you. You have to do the research. You have to do the research and understand that you're the one planning this event. It's the flow of the event. It's the flow of how things are going. And you are the flow director if you don't hire a day of coordinator. So that's what the day of coordinator is doing. Day of coordinators, you can't be a wildflower and not know what happens on the day of the wedding. And now you are sitting there like a deer in headlights over there filing your nails, not knowing what's going on. And so the guests are lost. They don't know what's happening. They're trying to get in on the formal photos when they're not supposed to be. And so everything is just going up in smoke at this point. And so that's what the day coordinator's job is ensure the transitions from the ceremony to the reception, where people go, where they're supposed to be. Are they supposed to be at the mocktail hour? Are they supposed to be at the photo booth? Are they supposed to be in interviews? Sometimes they should be in interviews. And so, yeah, they just, you just got to know, and you got to know where the couple is supposed to be at all times, okay? And then you also have to help the transition of the people who are in the bridal party that aren't the bridesmaids and groomsmen, who are like the trumpet players or the singers or the officiants and things like that. Maybe they don't know where to go next. So that's your job. That is your job. Okay. So you're also assisting with guest management. You're also herding the guests into the reception. Please go. Or having them go to mocktail hour, having them go to interviews, whatever it is, you are helping them to get there, because they'll stand around. They'll stand around as if it's their day and they're about to get their pictures taken with the formal photographer for the traditional photos. No. Bye-bye. If you did not get a text message that morning or the day before saying, hey, you're needed for the formal photos, then please don't stick around, guests. You got to keep going. You got to keep going. Okay. So, all right. The next part is number 5. All right. This is the part where it gets very, very spicy. Solves last minute problems. Number 5. Remember, we're doing 6 key points for the day of coordinator. This is number 5. Solves last minute problems. Okay. So they're going to handle emergencies like dress problems. There could be a malfunction with the wedding gown. Now, I know for myself, I had my own little like sewing kit for my dress, and sadly, nobody noticed, or let's take that back. Everybody noticed that the top little like hook and eye on my dress was not together. Somehow, when the bridesmaids had zipped me up and closed it, it broke. They all knew and didn't tell me the entire day. I saw it in video and pictures later on. And I'm like, what is happening? Like, why didn't anybody fix this? I actually had a sewing kit. And not only that, I had a needle and thread already threaded and ready to go, knotted on the end and everything. All they had to do was sew me up a new loop and then put the little hook on, because I still had the hook. I just didn't have the eye. Just saying. People got to do their job. I had a day of coordinator there. This was supposed to be her job. She didn't do it. All right. The other thing is missing vendors. There could be vendors that are not there. There could be bad weather. And so this is their job to also problem solve. Okay. I had my day of coordinator. We don't want to talk about it. All right. Paid person, guys, from the venue. Just saying. Paid person from the venue wanted all this money, got all this money, and didn't even fully do their job. All right, keeps guests and family members from bringing issues to the bride and groom. So this is very important, you guys. This is what I'm talking about when it comes to problem solving. You don't want the bride and groom to have to deal with issues from family and friends and guests at the wedding. So the day of coordinator is supposed to be that person that everybody in the room knows by now. They've seen this person running around, more than likely in all black, and they know to go talk to that person about an issue. Maybe the water station is out of water. Maybe they didn't get a fork and all the forks are now been put away. Whatever it is, okay? Whatever it is, they're going to go to that day of coordinator, not to the bride and groom. And what does the day of coordinator need to be doing? Looking out, looking around the room, scoping the room, okay, everyone looks like they're doing good. No one looks like they're lost or seem like they have a question. Be proactive, day of coordinators. Come on. People are paying you big bucks to help them out here. Okay. You need to be fast. You need to be quick on your toes with these things. All right. Quickly find solutions for unexpected situations. So there are things that could go wrong that like no one thought of, meaning someone brought a baby. Maybe that baby was not supposed to come to the wedding, who knows? And now someone brought a baby and they didn't bring any diapers. This is an example of just something very unexpected, okay? So somebody brought a baby, the baby, needs to change the pampers. We can all smell the baby. And now everyone's ignoring the smell, right? Everyone's ignoring that this baby is here and that they're ignoring the smell. Well, if there is a day of coordinator there, this is your job. This is your job. This is an unexpected issue. And so what do you need to do? You need to figure out how to get some diapers to that venue. Okay. You need to get some diapers and some wipes to that venue. Just saying. Number 6, manages the wedding exit and cleanup. This is a good one because most people don't realize that when it comes to cleanup and exiting, there's a lot to it. So let's break some of this down. Coordinates and send off activities. Example, sparklers, the sparkler exit, if you're going to have like flower or not flower, but like the rose petals being thrown at you, people don't do the rice that much anymore because, you already know. Also, there could be a getaway car that is there. So they're going to be focusing on those logistics and making sure that you have a good send off. Okay. They're also going to ensure gifts, decorations, and leftover flowers and food are properly collected. I want to throw in food because one of the things that you're going to find at wedding venues is that they're not going to let you take your food home with you. So you need to be really careful. You need to ask this question when you go shop for venues. We're not there yet on this wedding planning series, right? What are we doing? We're taking our time. We're learning a lot of things before we get to the actual venue shopping. That's not until later. People jump the gun and they book a venue and don't even realize that these venues are taking them for all their money, including keeping their food and eating their food after the wedding is over and eating their cake because there's so much of these things left over and they just eat it for themselves. That's not for you. That's for the couple. That's for the family. That's for the friends who all came to the wedding to support them. You are strangers. Unless they said you could have that stuff, it's not yours. It's not yours. You're robbing people. You're robbing people at that point. Okay. You're also going to make sure that, like we said, the gifts and the decorations are going to go home with them. Most of the time, this does happen, but when it comes to the flowers, what I've noticed, no. This is just me observing weddings, noticing things on my own. No, the planners keep those flowers for themselves. They divvy it out to the other vendors. That's what they do. And so it's like, should they be doing that? Should they be doing that? Once again, I don't think so. Those flowers should have went home with a family member of the bride and groom, preferably like mom or dad or a sibling, so that they can take care of the flowers while they're away on their honeymoon, and then they can get their flowers when they come back if they want them. Okay. But at least those flowers are so expensive. Flowers are thousands of dollars these days, thousands with an S. Okay. There are some people paying $2,000-$3,000 US dollars for flowers that are going to die in a week or two. And that's if you take care of them. Okay. I mean, I can take care of flowers for a whole month, but not everybody has the green thumb I have. Okay. Not everybody has that. Okay. So I get very, very serious when it comes to things that are going to go home with you or supposed to go home. Okay. The dev coordinator verifies that all rental items are returned and vendors pack up correctly. So not all the time do vendors pack up correctly. They leave things behind. That's a dev coordinator to stay behind and check for all these things are gone and that they, didn't take off with some cords that belong to the venue and things like that. It could happen. I'm not saying that people are doing that on purpose, but it could happen. Making sure that they take all their things as well. You don't want the vendors to leave their stuff behind and now it gets misplaced. They verify that the items that are rented are also returned. So if you rented some chairs from another venue or some tables, then they make sure that there is a time for pickup for those vendors to come and grab their things that were rental things. Okay. Maybe you rented some sofas or something. And so that's up to the coordinator to coordinate what time those vendors are going to come pick it up. Because if your wedding's at 5 p.m., guess what? It's probably going to end between 10 and midnight. And those vendors are not going to want to come pick up their stuff at that time on a Saturday night. Okay. So they're going to have to figure out a time when it's good for the venue for them to come get their stuff, either Sunday or Monday. Let's go over some stuff. Why every bride, including a DIY bride, needs a day of coordinator. Hold on. All right. Checklist. This allows the bride and groom to be fully present in their wedding day. So everybody needs a day of coordinator, even if you're a DIY bride. I know you want to do it all yourself. But you need a professional this time. On this part, you need a professional. And that professional needs to really do their job. So you really, 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 really need to vet and interview this person, okay? Make sure you look at their reviews for sure. Get some referrals if you can. All right. The couple shouldn't spend their wedding day problem solving. Huge. The coordinator takes care of everything so they can enjoy their beautiful day. Oh my goodness, you guys. Next checklist. Keeps family and friends from worrying and also working on the wedding day. So by having a day of coordinator, this allows your family and friends to not be worrying and to also not be working on the day of the wedding because they're going to want to do all the work. Okay. They're going to want to help you. And it's a good thing for them to also be present and immersed in your day. Without a coordinator, brides often ask family members to help. Guests should enjoy the wedding, not handle logistics and vendor issues. I believe this to be very true. And I do think that if you're going to spend money on a type of planner, I think the day of coordinator or a 3-month out coordinator is okay to have. I do. That's my advice. I do think that one, but they got to be good. They got to be good, guys. They have to be an amazing planner. They have to know their stuff. Okay. Really, really take your time in this area. And that's why we're taking our time on this wedding planning. We're not rushing. You get to ask me questions if you have them, and so on and so forth. Okay. The next checklist is that they ensure smooth guest experience. Okay. A smooth guest experience. Keep guests informed on seating, timing, and important events that are happening during the wedding. So that's going to be on the day of coordinator that they're making those announcements. They're letting the guests know, all right, guys, get ready because we're going to be doing toasts soon. A lot of times I will notice that you don't really hear anything from the day of coordinator. They'll have the DJ do it, but not always you even hear the DJ doing it. And it's probably because the bride and groom chose to have very little communication on the microphone from the day of coordinator or the DJ. But what ends up happening with that is that the guests don't know what's going on and when. So, and then the bridal party forgets a lot of things, and you want them there to witness these things or to be a part of these things. So, they do need to have some leeway to go ahead and be present on the mic for you. Okay. Guests need to know where to go. They are the ultimate wrangler, and it's not easy to go up to each and every person, especially when you have like 150, 300 guests trying to get them together for the bouquet toss. Just let them get on the microphone and let people know, hey, get ready, ladies. You might want to take your shoes off because there might be some people out here trying to run to get this bouquet in about 5 minutes. Okay, we're gonna have bouquet tosses. So yeah, make sure that you have somebody that you trust and that would be really, really good on the microphone and can also command a room. I will say that, command a room. Okay. Prevents confusion or delays that could disrupt the celebration. So this is important. This is important about the day of coordinator. They are going to be preventing confusion, like we said, where people go. Also chaos and things like that that could just delay everything. So that's why you need a person who can command a room. Next checklist: protects the DIY brides hard work. Okay, so the DIY brides out there, the DIY girlies, yay! The coordinator, the day of coordinator, is definitely going to protect the things that you have created, all the hard work that you've put into these things. DIY brides spend months and sometimes years planning and coordinating to their entire event, okay, their entire wedding and the execution perfectly, okay? So the day of coordinator is going to protect that, all right? The bride shouldn't have to set up decorations or answer questions and all of that stuff on the wedding day, okay? So that's why it's important that we have this day of coordinator. The next one is going to be the checklist of saving money versus a full service wedding planner. Now, when it comes to the full service wedding planner, they're going to charge you a lot more, a lot more. So, what I've seen in the cost is that if you see a full service wedding planner for about 4 or 5,000, you can usually get a day of coordinator for about 500 to 1,000 to come out and do all the things that we talked about for the day of. Okay, so it's good that you understand that this can save you money if you go this route. Say, like, if you were a do-it-yourself girly and you did everything, you already have all of your vendors set up, you already did it all, and you just need somebody on the day of because there's no way you're going to be able to do it. There's no way you're going to be able to set up. There's no way you're going to be able to answer vendor questions and delays. There's no way you're going to be able to answer your phone if the vendor calls and they have a flat tire. Okay, you need a day of coordinator that they have all the vendors' phone numbers so that they can handle that stuff. They can decorate. They can answer any kind of issues from the guest. Okay, so that's why it's important that you're going to take the time. You're going to take the time and have a day of coordinator to help you out, okay? And that you're not trying to get all your family members to do it. Last little bit of this checklist that the day of coordinator provides all this amazingness, okay? This professionalism and this amazingness is that they're going to prevent wedding day stress, okay? This is just such a huge one. Brides should enjoy their day, not worry about all the problems that are having, all the issues that everybody else is going through, the logistics of so many things. The coordinator takes charge as the bride can focus on other things like celebrating and being celebrated. Okay, so it's important for the day of coordinator to understand their role in all of that. All right. Why do some wedding venues require you to have a day of coordinator? I'm sure it's because of all the things that we've talked about. They don't want to have to deal with the bride that's running around with her head cut off and doesn't know what she's doing, okay, on the day of. that she doesn't realize that she can't be getting ready as well as setting up. Okay. They don't want to deal with that. So if you are insisting on not having a day of coordinator, they're probably just not even going to take you on and let you book their venue at all. And like I told you guys before, they're probably not even going to have you on if you are not going to have a planner at all. Okay, a full service planner or a partial planner. If you tell them that you're a do-it-yourself bride, they may not even let you book their venue. So this is something that you need to ask in the beginning when you are venue shopping, okay? When you go wedding venue shopping. So, you guys, something very important is coming up. And that is going to be our venue wedding story. I can't wait to share it. I cannot wait to share it. I will be sharing our venue wedding story, and it is a doozy. It is a doozy for sure. A lot happened. A lot of things could have been better, and a lot of money was spent. And as a person who plans events, who executes events, who staffs events, I was not impressed. The professionalism was like subpar. So that is coming. And I hope that you guys will enjoy that video for sure. People love getting to hear story time. So I hope that you'll enjoy it. What went into the budget binder today? Nothing. Nothing was bought today, you guys. There's nothing going into the budget binder. That's the segment of our show where we talk about who pays for this and what goes in there and how much was it. We're not putting anything in the budget binder. All we did today was discuss and learn so that you could be prepared when you go out to these venues and go shopping for one, okay? And why they're going to tell you you're going to need a wedding planner or a day of coordinator, if not both, okay? And why they may not take you on if you're a DIY bride. Be my guest. Be my guest here on your wedding series. We are looking for guests right now to be on your wedding series podcast show. And I want you to share your wedding story. I want you to share how wedding planning is either going, or if you are planning your wedding yourself. If you're doing it yourself, I definitely want to hear from you. If you have ran into this at venues where they're like, we're not taking you on, you're doing your own wedding, you can't book here. I want to hear what they told you as to the why and how you reacted to it. How did you handle this this reaction from them of you want to book, but then they're like, no, we can't have you here because you don't want our wedding planner or you don't want our day of coordinator. So absolutely not. Okay. I want to hear about how that went for you. And the way you can get a hold of me is just by sending me an email, and you and I can chat about it. We can talk about it. We can set up a video call. And if you want, I will share it here on the platform. Now, I don't have to share it here on the platform. You can decide you just want to talk about it with me. You don't have anybody to talk about your wedding stuff with, and you just want to talk about it with me. No problem. We can hang out, we can chat, we can talk it through, and you can just get a lot of stuff off of your chest and your shoulders, okay? But if you want to share your story with others, you want other people to hear and to learn something from your story, or just enjoy a good story, right? People just want to enjoy a good story. Then we will record that video and I will put it on the platform so that it can be shared with others, okay? The way you get a hold of me is at yourcontentcreator@yahoo.com. You just send me an email. And guess what, lovebirds? That is the end of our episode. That's the end of our episode today. And we did have a few more people join us more than usual. I didn't see y'all in the comments, but I hope that you will feel comfortable with commenting at some point and hanging out and sharing. And I always put a question in the comments if you don't know what to talk about with me. But as I'm going along, I do read the comments and I do, talk about them here. I'm not just here giving and talking and yapping and you don't get a chance to participate. Yes, this is a time for you to participate as well, and I will address whatever questions that you may have. I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye, lovers.